Hi, here's how the Tajar learned to swim. It was like this. One bad winter, there was a really tough storm and the witch's tree house blew down. And all her housekeeping things scattered all over the place. And the Tajar was very much excited, and he jumped up and down, and he got in the witch's way and tried to help the witch pick things up. But when the witch began to pile things very neatly, and the Tajar looked at the piles, and he saw the high pile of wobbly teacups, he said to himself, I think it would be a very good time for me to go and do death-defying life leaps through the branches a very long way away from here. And so he went and did death-defying life leaps through the branches with his tail. And then the witch went off and found a new tree. And when she was ready to move, she wanted the Tajar to help her. And so she called, Tajar, Tajar. But the Tajar didn't come. And then she called again, Tajar, Tajar. But still the Tajar didn't come. So the witch did a swift and sudden magic, and the Tajar landed right in front of her, very much out of breath. And she did a magic, and the Tajar was there in front of her. Then the witch said to the Tajar, just for that, all afternoon you have to help me move. And she gave the Tajar high, wobbly piles of teacups, and just as he was afraid, he had to carry them to the witch's new home. And besides that, she was very cross. But when the witch was all moved, the Tajar said to himself, I am going to get even with the witch for that horrible afternoon, making me work so hard. And the next time the witch was away, the Tajar thought of a fine plan. He loosened the handles on the teacups, and he taught them how to do death-defying life leaps through the branches. And he taught them a little bit each day. And there was one specially big teacup with two handles, and it could do especially fine death-defying life leaps through the branches. And after that, whenever the witch went out to gather herbs, the Tajar would come and teach the teacups a little bit more until they got very good at doing death-defying life leaps through the branches with their handles. And he set them all going just as the witch was coming home. When the witch saw this going on, she became very excited and very indignant and almost hysterical. Then the Range Ranger, who ranges the ranges in that region, came along, and he saw that something was going on at camp. And he came across the ranges straight to the camp. And the witch saw him, and she said, see what the Tajar has taught my teacups to do? And sure enough, there were all the teacups doing death-defying life leaps through the branches with their handles. And then the Range Ranger said, Tajar, Tajar, did you teach the witch's teacups how to do death-defying life leaps through the branches with their handles? And the Tajar said, yes, sir. Then the Range Ranger said, very well, discipline must be maintained. For this, you cannot go swimming for a week. And the Range Ranger went away. And the Tajar said, well, that's not much of a punishment. I never have been swimming. But the next day, he went down to the stream to see if he could find a place that would be good for swimming. And he slipped into the water, and he swam and swam. And his tucks began to feel a little funny, but he didn't pay attention. And he went swimming and swimming. But he came out because the Range Ranger came over toward the river, and he ran as fast as he could and jumped into his hiding place because he didn't want the witch or the Range Ranger to know that he had been swimming. But when he was up in his hiding place, the tucks in his right paw and his left paw began to shrink. And the next day, the Range Ranger, who ranges the ranges in that region, came across the ranges, and he saw the witch, but he didn't see the Tajar. And he said, Tajar, Tajar. And the Tajar, who was in his hiding place, said, yes, sir, but he didn't come out. Then the Range Ranger went to the Tajar's hiding place, and he stood in front of the Tajar, and he said, "Tajar, Tajar, show me your tucks." And the Tajar put out his paws, and the Range Ranger said, "Tajar, have you been swimming?" And the Tajar said, "Yes, sir." "Very well," said the Range Ranger. "You went swimming, and your tucks have shrunk, and your own tucks make it so that you cannot climb down from your hiding place because your legs won't reach." And sure enough, the Tajar had to stay in his hiding place for a week. But after that, the Range Ranger came, and he put another rung in the Tajar's ladder thing. And after that, the Tajar went swimming anytime he wanted to.